Okay. Hi everyone, and welcome again to my audio-visual channel. I am Gabriela Handal. I'm a draftsman and the host of the show you're about to watch, a conversation about art where I'm doing long-term research on the meaning of art and beauty. If you'd like to support my channel, liking, leaving a comment, and sharing this video is incredibly helpful, and so is subscribing. You can also provide support via the links in the description. Today we have episode 99, and my guest is artist Julia Bangert. Julia, welcome. Please tell our listeners and viewers who you are and what you do.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course.
It's a great pleasure to meet you this way. I'm an artist specialized in book painting or book illumination since 10 years by now. And I also have a full-time job as Public Relations and Communication Manager at the Science and Innovation Alliance in Kaiserslautern, something completely different from my artworks, but
Okay.
A great variety in life, I would say.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And, all right. I have many questions, especially after the part you said that this day job, I guess, I don't know, is basically unrelated, completely unrelated, right? I mean, would you say it is completely unrelated to art?
Well, if you ask this way, not completely. It's well, if you work in communications, you can be very creative. I work mainly with text, but I also do design stuff and do for some flyers or something like that. I make little drawings, so I guess I profit from my artwork in this job also, and it's not completely away from it, but it's completely different type of work. Yes, because when I make my art, I do these very little letters with gilding and with many tiny details, and it's yeah, very time consuming. It's low kind of art, and a quick scribble or sketch is something different, and that's more something I would do for my job.
Okay. Okay, so all right, so the book illumination, how did you end up doing that? Did you how did you get into that?
It was pretty much by chance. I studied book studies after school, and I focused in this time on the early modern period and the time of Johannes Gutenberg and the invention of letterpress printing. And through that, I came into contact with the Gutenberg Museum in Mainz, and the two organizations who supports the museum are the Gutenberg Society and the Gutenberg Foundation. And I did an internship at the Gutenberg Society and later took over the management for a short time. And in this time, we had a stand together at the Frankfurt Book Fair. And I was there the whole time and listened to my colleague from the Gutenberg Foundation, the managing director there. She explained to the visitors a special product from the Gutenberg shop. It's the museum shop that's run by the Gutenberg Foundation. And this special product is reproductions of single pages from the Gutenberg Bible. The Gutenberg Bible, the famous first printed book with movable type in the Western world.
Yeah.
And special about the Gutenberg Bible, as for most of the early printed books, is that the text is printed, but there are spaces left for initials and opening lines of the chapters, which are added later by hand from artists. And they do it the same way in the Gutenberg shop. They print the text, and then they have artists that add everything else by hand. The initials, the gilding, the decorations on the borders, and she explained all that because it needs a lot of explaining.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it made that way, and what's the history of all that? And at the end of the time, I asked her who the artists are, because I would like to do that too. Yeah, I thought I could do that. And she was skeptical, but she looked at my previous work, and we worked together since then. I took over painting these Bible pages for my predecessor, and I guess at the moment at the Frankfurt Book Fair, I saw an opportunity to combine two passions of mine. I always loved painting and drawing as a child, and but only animals or portraits. I never did something like book illumination before, but in my studies, my book studies, I also grew quite fond of all the history stuff about this early printing period. And there I saw a way to combine both of these things.
Okay. So before getting into the book illumination, were you doing, like fine art stuff regularly?
No, just as a hobby. As I said, I've always liked to paint and draw since I was a child, but not on a regular basis. Just when I was in the mood for it, and sometimes there were weeks or months that I didn't paint or draw anything. It was just as I came into contact with the Gutenberg shop, and I had commissions to do, that I got into painting and drawing daily, and since that I grew more and more into that thing.
Okay. Okay, but if previously you were, painting and drawing on a whim, whenever you felt like it, what was it about learning about the book illumination that made you think that you could commit to it every day, to doing it every day, before you would just do it whenever you feel like it, but then you would basically be obligated to do it every day? So then did the mentor like let you try it for a few months to see how you felt, or like were you immediately, I want to do this every day? And if so, why did you think that you wanted to do it every day? Like what was it about that?
I didn't think so much about the future at that moment. I just thought, well, I want to try that. It looks like something I could enjoy. And I did. I also had to try out if I could really do the most elaborate pages, because there are different versions of it. If you do one page after the original, we paint after the model of the copy of the Gutenberg Bible in Berlin. And it's really richly and colorful illuminated with animals and figures and flowers, and it takes a lot of time for one page. So this page is quite expensive when it's finished, and so they have simpler versions where the decoration is simplified and the outlines are printed also, so you just coloring them. And that's what I started with. I'm not so sure if I could do that all day for years. I do it from time to time, yeah, but I'm mostly the one who do the elaborate ones by now. But at that time, as I started, I didn't know I was good enough for that. I learned to do that. As I had to learn to do gilding, I didn't know anything about how to gild anything. That was also something I learned in the process. And yeah, I didn't know that I would do this for so many years like I have now. So it was just yeah, something I wanted to try, and I tried, and I find out I can do it very well, and I like it very much.
Okay. So I was looking at one or two of the videos of the reels that you have on Instagram, and there's one where you're also writing like letters, So I mean, is there
Yes.
calligraphy involved as well? Is that also something you have to know if a person wants to be a book illuminator?
Uh, I won't say it's something you have to know, but it helps because that way I can do whole manuscripts.
Mm.
It's something I like to do from time to time. There are not many commissions who wants that because it's also a time-consuming thing, so a bit expensive. But I really like to do it. It's the most things I do. You have seen it on my Instagram are one or two letters, just these single pieces with motifs and gilding. Uh, but the real book painting or book illumination is in combining with text.
Mm.
So I like it really much if I can combine it with whether it's printed text or I write it myself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, I like the idea of writing the text yourself as well, just because that means that your hand is in more of the page and you did more of the work, and it's kind of more, I don't know, just like you did more, so it's more of your hand or something like that.
Yeah, it's also more medieval.
Yeah, it's more true to life too. Yeah. Okay. Um. Okay. So, have you? I mean, you said you've been doing it for 10 years, right? About.
Yes.
Okay. So, have you done work in that same fashion of page illumination where you write a text and make the capital letters and the gilding and edges and this stuff, but have you done it in a personal capacity, meaning outside of work, basically? I mean, like for example, if you
Yeah.
like wrote a poem or if you wrote a
Yes.
short story, and so you write the story in a page and you illuminate it. Have you done that? It's like your work.
uh, I would love to. For a few years now, I think I really have to take the time for it. But since I started with these single letters, I have so many commissions. I just don't find the time for it. I mean,
Okay.
it's great that so many people like
Sure.
that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
art, but I have so many ideas for my own pieces. It's yeah, it's a yeah. How do I put it? Well, I would like to do that, really.
Okay. Okay. Um, and okay, so then if you have so very many commissioned work that it doesn't allow for personal work, I mean, are you considering making the book element, the part about the commissioned work and just like the page illumination, are you considering making that at some point your full-time job, like doing only that?
I thought about it and I think about it from time to time. Um, but I I don't know if I would like that so much in the long run
Mm.
because I really like the many different things I do.
Mm.
Yeah, I like the variety and um, when I do every day the same thing over and over again, I would get bored, I think. I mean, I didn't get bored with painting anyway, near since now, yeah, but um, I'm not so sure if it was when I'm only doing that.
Right.
And also, it's I like the freedom of it. I have the commissions, but at the end, I don't have to do them. I want to do them. If it's
Right.
my full-time job, I have to, no matter what, because I have to earn my living with that.
Right.
It would make it different for me, I think. And it's not so easy in Germany because you have to earn a lot of money to make up for a full-time job like I have now.
A lot of money to make up for what? Sorry.
To compensate that you don't have another full-time job. When you're an employee, you get paid all the insurances and something like that.
I
And
see.
if you're self-employed, you have to earn that too on top of that.
Of course. Okay. Okay. But what about the other job that you have? So that other job, I mean the day job, I guess, doesn't work for that because it's not full time?
It's full time. That's because I don't have any time for painting something for me, because it's a full time job and I do the painting on the evenings or on the weekends only.
Okay. All right. So I want to understand a little bit more about the day job that you have. I mean, is it kind of like graphic design?
No, it's more in the marketing area. I do all the communications, like press releases, social media, or event organization is part of it. Um, Such things. We do projects. It's a non-profit organization where we are mainly a network for institutions or companies which are in the tech world.
Okay. Okay. So I mean, based on what you were saying earlier, you like that this job, that the full time job isn't that it's very different from the book illumination.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, just finish your question, please.
Yeah, no, that all right, give me a second. So you like that it's very different from the book illumination, but you also find enjoyment in this marketing for the tech company stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, I like to do many different things.
Mm-hmm.
I come into contact with different um, yeah, themes. Um, it has to do with artificial intelligence and computer science stuff, and I'm pretty interested in such things too. And it's also that I have to work more with my head in this job.
Mm-hmm.
Painting is just with my hands,
Uh-huh.
very accurate painting, yeah, and my head has nothing to do.
Uh-huh.
um, and it's something yeah, it's also a bit limited how long you can do this, because
The book
it's a
illumination?
bit, yes, it's how's it called in English? It's not easy. It's you have to be very concentrated
Right.
and hold your hand very straight, and um, that for the whole day, I think it would be too much. And so it's good to do just something else where you have to think about completely different things and stuff. Before I was at the before I got the job at the Science and Innovation Alliance, I was a managing director of the Gutenberg Society. And there also I had a wide range of tasks, beside office work, event organization, social media, book accounting, all different kinds of things. And I like that because I really like to learn new things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's really important for me. Yes.
Okay. Okay, well, listening to you talk about it a little bit longer, it really reminds me of, kind of how I feel about, my own, drawings and my artistic work, and also being a housewife, because they're very different, right? And when, as a housewife, I have to do all kinds of stuff that, it's not, it's very different from art as well, but I also, not only do I find enjoyment in that as well, it's very gratifying and fulfilling and everything, and it's like, cleaning, I don't like the cleaning itself, but when I'm done cleaning, it's like very satisfying to look at the place be clean, and it's like, wow, I did that and the place is nice now, and like ordering stuff and making things pretty, and kind of like cooking this it's very it's a lot of switch tasking in a way, because you have to do lots of different things, similarly to your the marketing job that you were talking about, where you have to do a variety of things as well, and I can totally see how that would be. It makes a lot of sense that it would be not just a break from the art, but then it will also maintain the enjoyment of the art. Does that sound right?
Yes, it's completely what I meant. Yes.
Okay, that's cool. And did you say something? You said something about book studies at the beginning. Is did you study that? What was it?
Yes, it's a very small subject at the Johannes Gutenberg University in Mainz. There are not many places where you can study this as well, and it's called book studies because it's all about book beside the content. So it's about book production, book trade, the history of the book, the cultural and societal surroundings of book production and book trade. Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of like the physical aspect. Did you learn how to bind a book too, like how to make the cover and this type of stuff?
Theoretically, it practically we learned to use design software, but I also read about binding a book, and I tried it once myself. Not very professional, but it worked. Kind of worked.
Okay.
So yes, it's really about the physical object, the book of the book.
Okay. But was that taught at some point, like the how to make a book by hand? That must have been taught at some point.
No, I focused on the history part, but it wasn't a big subject in book studies. They focused more on the modern book trade and the modern book production, because many of my student colleagues, they ended up in the modern book trade or in publishing houses, for example.
Okay, so then it also includes like the kind of like the relationship between the writer and the publisher, and kind of like the logistics of writing and publishing a book. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds interesting, because I find that very confusing. I have no idea how that works.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Okay, and are you planning on, do you have any interest at all on putting that knowledge to work at some point in your life? Do you ever want to publish a book on book elimination, for example?
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to do that when I find the time to write it.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so, Miss Bangert, what is art in your opinion?
Well, that's bit of a difficult question but I think the general definition puts it quite well for me as art as the result of a creative process, where all, the work of art can be the result of the process, or the process itself can be art, because that's very open. Then art can be anything from a painting, a sculpture, a dance, music, a play, and I like that part of art. And also for me, important of art is that it exists merely out of itself, um, only on the purpose to maybe make a statement, but no other, like a blueprint for a building or a map uh, which guides you anywhere, but just as the art itself.
Okay. And why do you think that art exists in that way, like without a purpose? Is that it?
Yeah, kind
Okay.
of.
Why do you think it exists? It doesn't have a purpose.
Or I think art has a purpose. Many artworks have a bold statement, but not everything. Some paintings are just for there to look at and to enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yes. But I guess I wonder if, so outside of like for example like a scientific illustration or the illustration for a book or this sort of stuff that has kind of like a more, that has this obvious purpose, I guess I wonder if art has, in your opinion, has a purpose, whether it has that obvious practical quote unquote purpose of illustrating something or as a guide, like in the case of the building blueprint. Because, and I mean the reason I'm asking is because what otherwise would explain the fact that art has been with humans right from the beginning, like right since the moment when we were able to hold something. It's very, very old, and it was present when we were definitely not as comfortable or as safe from the elements or predators as we are now. It was there right from the beginning. So what do you think about that?
Well, I guess we just need art. We need artists need art to express themselves, and others need art to um, yeah, experience something, see something in it. It can evoke many emotions, many different ones, and yeah, it's something very human to want to have these different emotions and to experience them through art, I think.
Okay, yes. And okay, so then in that case, what is that for you? I mean, why do you think that that you are interested in participating in art, basically?
Oh, that's a really difficult question, because I find it very difficult to describe what I feel when I hold a brush in my hand and paint. It's very unique, because um, you see something in the process, and at the end you look at it and think that I have done that. Wow. I don't know. It always looks different than I think at the beginning it would, and yeah, it's just a very satisfying feeling to bring color on paper or parchment or anything else, and um, create different shapes, and at the end it's a complex or simple, but it's something I created, and I like looking at it, and others do too. That's important for me to also, because all these letters I do for my customers, they're very individual for them. They're pets in it, or personal motives. So they're very personal pieces, and I really love that when they give me the feedback that they are so happy about it, and it makes them feel so happy. Yeah, that's great. Also, because to your first question, what is art? There is a kind of a funny story, I think, because I actually had to think about the question of what is art and isn't, as I once was insured by the Künstlersozialkasse in Germany. It's an institution that provides social insurance for self-employed artists and publicists. And in their requirements, they say artists are, or an artist is anyone who creates, performs, or teaches music, performing, or visual arts. And I thought, well, yeah, that fit for me. There wouldn't be a problem, but there was actually, because of the gilding in my pieces. Because gilding for the Künstlersozialkasse is not an art, it's a craft.
Okay.
And whether it's used in an artwork or not. And so I always had to estimate how much of my time is for the gilding, and then I had to and then I had to thought how much of my income is for the gilding and the rest is for the painting, because gilding wasn't eligible for insurance. And
I see.
I thought, well, it's a typical example of German bureaucracy, I would say.
Yeah.
But also interesting how narrowly or broadly you can define it.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Do you think there's a difference between art and craft? You personally?
I'm not so sure about that. I mean, there are crafts where the outcome I'm not first think of as an artwork. If you do a cupboard or anything, just very simple and plain, I wouldn't say, wow, this is a piece of art. I'm not so sure about that. But yeah, I think there are differences, but there are also kind of combinations possible.
Okay. Yeah, I think I agree with you on that, because I think, all right, so if I think about what is craft, and not because I've looked it up or anything, but kind of like the idea that I have from kind of deriving meaning for the word based on what the person is saying, it's kind of like, I don't know, weaved baskets and making jewelry and like earrings, or, you know, like binding books as well, pottery, something like that. I'm thinking maybe I'm kind of speculating generally falls into the category of art for a lot of people. And, you know, especially if it's handmade. I think that if the crafts person, I think it falls into, all right, sorry for saying I think so many times, but if there's kind of like a degree of repetition in what you're making, because it's like if you're making pottery and you want to make lots of pots to sell to a store, you might want to have 5 of the same pot, but then you have to make them individually yourself. Something like that. And I think there's something of that in craft. But at the same time, there is art in the sense that you have to make the pots well, which is kind of maybe not the most important aspect of like fine art and visual art, but a very important aspect of visual art, which is to make it well. So then if you're making jewelry, or if you're making pots, or if you're making like coasters or binding books or whatever, you want to do it well. Not just so that it looks good, but then so that it lasts a long time. For example. And then there is an aspect of craft as well in art, because it's like, I'm not going to make one drawing and then that's it. I want to make a lot of drawings. I just want them all to, depending, it can be like a series of drawings. I can maybe, like El Greco, who made several similar paintings, for example, but then they were all a little bit different, but then the composition and the subject was the same. Something like that. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about that? Does that seem right?
Yeah, I think there's where it gets difficult, because for me, artwork has something of a unique character.
Right.
And as soon as it is a mass product, as you have 2, 3, 4, or 10, or even more identical things, I find it difficult to call it an artwork anymore. If they're completely identical, it's different if they're little things that make them unique again. So I think that's a very important point for me. That an artwork is one thing that isn't reproduced but then it's difficult with graphic arts, I think. There you have copies, and you can call them artworks. I'm thinking.
No, I mean, that seems right. And also because, like, for example, with the book illumination that you're talking about, or at least, or if we're talking about when the printing of books started, the point kind of was to make copies of one book so that lots of people could have it, right? So then if those books were meant to be illuminated, then wouldn't the people who were illuminating the book, weren't they supposed to make the illuminations like all the same?
But it took a long time to illuminate one book.
Right.
For one Gutenberg Bible, approximately 2 years. So you can't reproduce that.
Right.
That's why every copy of the Gutenberg Bible is unique, and I think you can consider it an artwork because everyone's different.
They're all different, yeah.
And not all of them, but many are really beautiful illuminated. And so
Okay, and so you've been able to see these Bibles in person?
One of them, the Gutenberg Bible in Göttingen. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
I could flip through the pages. I was very happy about that, because normally it is put away and locked away, and you can't have access to it.
Right. Yeah. I can imagine, because you can't just be putting your hands all over that. That probably damages the. Yeah. Okay. There's because I'm in New York, and at the New York Academy of Medicine, they have anatomy books from, I don't know, the 1500s and the 1600s. Like actually, no, we're talking about printed books. So when was the printing press invented?
1450 around.
Okay, so then I figure after that, they have books after printing was available. So then there's books by Albinus, like I have like a regular paper print of that book, but then, and it's like this big, but then if I go there, it's like these gigantic pages that have kind of like the relief of the ink on them, from the print and the paper, and it's really amazing to be able to see that stuff, and not just to see it, but also to touch it and to kind of have this to be able to contemplate this object that not only is very old, but it's also so kind of lovingly done. It was lovingly made because it was like this one book, and printing wasn't like as easy as it is now,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it must be kind of crazy to be able to see. I mean, because that Bible, the Bibles, the things printed at the Gutenberg press must have been like the very first things that were printed. So it's like, if that was in the 1400s, and we're in the 2000s, that was like 600 years ago. Does that seem right?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's crazy.
And it looks freshly printed.
That's amazing. That's really cool. Okay. Okay. All right. So Ms. Bangert, what is beauty in your opinion?
That's an even more difficult question, I think. Because beauty for me, it's different when it comes to different things. Beauty in art is for me something different than beauty in people or beauty in nature. Because in nature it can be really simple, like a sunset. I find it beautiful, and I always do, no matter how much I see it,
Right.
how often I mean. In people, it's more difficult because it's a huge matter of taste, I think. I think other people are beautiful than others. Everyone has a type, or think, wow, that person is beautiful. Another one says, yeah, pretty, but not beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
There are many shades of beauty in people and faces. And in art, it's there are two kinds of beauty for me. It's the simple one, where it's the harmonic of colors and shapes, and everything works well together. It's nice to look at. Some kind of simple beauty, which has to be careful not to be boring, I have to say. And the other thing is when things break out of it. If you have ugly things in the artwork, but the artwork still is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, that seems like an interesting way of putting it, and it made me think of like some medieval painting, like Bosch. Hieronymus Bosch, who,
Yeah.
I mean, the Garden of Earthly Delights is very well made, very well painted, but some of the stuff depicted there is like, what is that?
He's a perfect example of what I try to say. Yes.
Okay.
He has some pretty ugly things in his paintings, but the whole thing, I think his art is beautiful. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I agree. Yeah, because there's something about. So that's part of what we were talking about earlier with art, that it has to be well made because it looks better. So if I look at the Garden of Earthly Delights, I don't like the painting, okay? But it's obvious that the artist took a lot of care and took a lot of time and thought through the making of the painting, because there's so many of the marks that are so small, and it's like, everything is so delicate and small and precious and placed in a way. And also like the object, because isn't it supposed to be, it's like a triptych that kind of like opens, right? And when you close it, there's like a dome or something. And it's supposed to represent the earth before God came and created stuff, right? Isn't that right? Does that seem right?
I think.
Yeah. So the entire object, it's like the entire object is a work of art, like not just the stuff that he painted on. So then it's so okay. So see, I think that's pretty special. You know, it's you could even argue that it's a beautiful work of art, even if what is depicted in it is just, I don't like it. You know. So what do you think about that? Do you have other examples?
Kind of a medieval installation, maybe.
Yeah.
Other examples. Rembrandt. You know the Renaissance painter?
Yes.
I think from him is Saturn eats his kids.
Okay.
That's a
I didn't know he painted that.
ugly thing.
Okay.
But it still is a great piece of art, I think.
Okay, I want to look it up. And you said it's Saturn eating his...
Saturn eating, his children.
Okay, so this it's from Goya, no?
Yes. Sorry, I mixed the.
Well, there's
the
Goya. No, there's another one. This one is really gruesome. Who is this? You know, I might have to actually start showing images in this podcast because. Anyway, so yeah, there's a painting of Saturn that's kind of like ripping an arm out, but there's another painting from another guy. I mean, what is that, like Rubens or something? And he's like, the guy's taking a bite out of the kid's chest. It's really, it's like, it's not the Goya one though. It's like somehow more gruesome than the Goya one. And the Goya one is pretty gruesome. Okay, so yeah, I see. Yeah, that's a good example too.
They're really not beautiful, but they're fascinating to look at, I think.
But I think it's also because they're well made and well painted. And also, you know what that makes me think of as well? Of Kath Kollwitz's work. You know who that is?
No.
Kath Kollwitz, she painted...
Yes.
Okay, yes.
No.
I might have pronounced it. I mean, I probably don't pronounce that correctly, but how do you pronounce that?
Käthe Kollwitz.
Käthe Kollwitz. Okay. She depicted people that were suffering, but her drawings are incredible. And I thought about, why do I want to look at her drawings? Because that's the thing. It's like, I don't like that she's depicting a mother clutching her dead child. I don't like that. But I want to look at the drawing, and I was thinking about why, and I think it's because, again, it's well made. And it's because of the skill involved. And it's because it takes skill to be able to... Okay, you're trying to communicate. The artist is trying to communicate. So then it's like if she wants to talk about the grief of a mother who just lost her child, you have to communicate clearly and accurately if you're an artist. And the way to do that is through your skill. So like with the skill, you can accurately depict, like the gesture and with the atmosphere, the way that you do the ambience of the image, and that is all through the skill of the artist. So then that aspect of it is very enjoyable and very impressive. So So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think skill is a very important thing in art, to make an artwork um, really compelling, and that you want to look at it, even if it depicts gross things or so. But if it's really done with skill and well made, as you put it, that's a good point, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we Ms. Bangert, we have broken the 50-minute mark of our conversation here today. So I'm gonna start to close it out. What are you up to these days? Is there anything you want to add? If do you have any projects that you have coming up that you're excited about? I don't know if is there anything you want to show off, or where can people find your work? This sort of stuff.
Okay, thank you. Well, you can find my work easily on Instagram. My account is named Book Illumination in one word, and I will show a few more initials there over the next few weeks, and I hopefully plan another workshop in the summer.
You're teaching.
I'm
Nice.
asked really often. I did one workshop last year, my first and only one so far. But there's so many people who like to learn gilding,
Yeah.
and I can understand, because I had to learn it from research and from try and error.
Yeah.
And I think a teacher would have been very helpful for me. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Wait,
I hope
so what people want to learn is gilding.
mostly.
Interesting.
Many ask about painting also, but I don't learn painting in a specific way. I just did it and learned by doing it
Yes.
over
Yes.
and over and over again, by practicing.
Yes. Yes.
So
Okay.
I don't know, I'm would be really good in teaching painting, but I can teach gilding.
Okay. All right. Well, the link to your Instagram is going to be in the description, Ms. Bangert, and I'm going to start to close out the episode now. So thank you, Julia, very much for joining me. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Feel free to let Julia and I know what you think of this conversation in the comments, and leave also any questions that you might have after having listened to this episode. I encourage everyone that is listening and watching to like this video and share it with anyone you consider relevant, as it is immensely helpful to my channel, and so is your subscription. If you want to support Julia, myself, and the podcast, you can find links in the show notes. Thank you very much, everyone, and see you next time. Bye!